Last time on possibly the greatest alchemist of all time. After being summoned to an audience by King Barkula, Takumi and the girls arrive at the capital, Bakulados. There, after some persuasion from Sophia, Takumi interviews an assistant candidate, Reva, whose passion for alchemy gets her the position. Before the episode ends, Elizabeth convinces the King of Sidonia to let the Divine Light Squadron unleash their wrath onto them instead. What kind of trouble is this going to bring to Barkula and possibly to Takumi? Let's find out in Episode 8. Episode 8 starts off with an elderly man walking up to Takumi and admiring the fine craftsmanship he displayed on the carriage. All of a sudden, Papik and Godwin come running to them, addressing the elderly man as king. Takumi realizes he had been casually chatting with the king all this time, sending him into shock. King Barkula tells Takumi that he didn't want to put him through the arduous formalities that accompanied formal or even informal audiences with the king, and thus wanted to personally thank him for helping solve the sewage problem of the nation. After their conversation, Takumi and the gang depart back to Bolton. After getting a reward from the king, Takumi purchases the mansion he was renting through the Papik company. He tries paying Sophia and Maria, but they refuse, stating they were getting by just fine with the allowances he was giving them. Being an elf, Sophia would outlive Takumi, and so she would spend her remaining life guarding his grave, while Maria would be happy if she got to live one day longer than Takumi so she could be buried alongside him, leaving Takumi at a loss for words. Meanwhile, in the Kingdom of Sidonia, a spy working for Elizabeth brings her the magical tile Takumi had been using to solve the sewage problem. The spy then tells her that the Divine Light Squadron wished to strike this issue right away. Elizabeth agrees that the best thing was to nip the problem in its bud. Back in Bolton, Takumi takes Reva to the Adventurers Guild to get her registered as an adventurer as well. Hans tells Takumi he should probably come up with a party name now, as his party was one of the best ones out there. Takumi didn't have assigned roles in his party like the Lion's Fang and wasn't a frontliner either. Hearing this, the guild master pops up immediately, telling Takumi to leave the last bit to him while he thinks of a good name. What follows is a thorough tossing around of Takumi at the guild master's hands every time he suggests a terrible party name like Toilet's Lid or Father of Toilets. Unsuccessful on his own, Takumi resorts to seeking help from the girls. Reva suggests a very long descriptive name mentioning each member's abilities, while Maria suggests a short but equally ridiculous name, making Takumi question his decision. He then asks Sophia for some input, but Sophia, burning with rage over how the guild master had battered Takumi, promises to take revenge. Around 10 months into the future, in the Kingdom of Sidonia, while Yamato practices his sword skills, Akira suggests they leave this place but gets rejected right away by Akane. He taunts her for worrying about her beast girl slave. Akane leaves, pitying how much Akira had changed for the worse since being summoned here. During her research, she had found out that the Church of Divine Light preached human supremacy, while the Church of Creation considered all beings equal, leaving her wondering what exactly did a nation ruled by the former expect them to. Back in Bolton, Takumi forges some equipment to help Reva with her alchemy and a weapon for Keed too, which he had Reva make for her. During another harsh training session with the guild master, Takumi tries coming up with more names but fails. Worrying Sophia might snap, he looks over at her, but Sophia was more invested in instructing him rather than anything else. At the guild inquiry desk, Hans asks Takumi if he is interested in an escort quest, which would grant him a leveling up upon completion. Reluctant at first, Takumi takes up the mission, and they set off on their journey to Kilbuse. The guest being escorted talks about getting milk and cheese from there, surprising Takumi that such foods existed here as well. On their way, they encounter a territorial conflict between goblins and bush wolves, but one zap from Tsubaki takes care of that. Feasting on cream stew and cheese later makes Takumi nostalgic about his home, prompting him to ask Sophia if she ever felt the same. Although Sophia, who had been like a caged bird until Takumi gave her the wings to freedom by signing a contract with him, enjoyed her present more. This gives Takumi the idea to name his party Wings of Nolan. After their return 2 nights later, Takumi encounters a tricky situation when he finds someone had spread the mansion with paralyzing poison. Suddenly, one of the assailants attacks him, but Keed saves him. Takumi then takes care of the rest and quickly heals the girls. Thanks to their poison resistance, he and Keed didn't get affected. Takumi then notifies the guild master about it, who advises him to inform the lord as well since this matter was quite serious.